Hi, my name is Sheila Hill and I'm a life coach and a spiritual guide. Thank you for coming to my channel. I was asked to do a video on the concept of ascension and what it means to be 3D and transitioning into 5D. So with the knowledge that I have and the understandings that I have as of right now, I'm going to do my best to explain this to you. We, the beings, us, and Mother Gaia, are going through a massive ascension right now. Some call this Project New Earth. What is happening is we are shifting from being a third dimensional frequencied planet and third dimensional beings into becoming fifth dimensional beings on a fifth dimensional planet. So how is this all this happening, and why, and what's going on? Well, some 26,000 years ago, Mother Gaia, planet Earth, was a fifth dimensional planet, and she was ascending to become a seventh dimensional planet. And some malevolence happened and the whole thing got corrupted. So that didn't come to be. So for the last 26,000 years, planet Earth has been a third dimensional planet, which is where some of us and some not of us are right now. So planet Earth is a matrix within a matrix. So without getting too complicated, there is the planet, like imagine a ball, the planet itself, and then surrounding the planet is the third dimensional matrixed frequency, almost like a holograph. This is where the whole concept comes in that we are the creators of our experience. What we create, imagine, and hold frequency and intention for in our inside becomes the holographed experience on the outside. That's what this experiment is all about. This experience and experiment is all about. We came as divine souls from source, from other intergalactic spaces, from wherever it is you think we come from, to play on planet Earth. To play within the confines of linear time, to experience what it's like to have an ego, to experience separation from source, separation from one another, and to manifest in physical form. This is the playground planet of the souls across all galaxies. So we came here to play on this third dimensional Earth that has a third dimensional matrixed, almost like a computer program simulation that is engulfing the planet itself. Nothing wrong with any of that. However, not to get too much into it, the third dimensional frequency matrix was hacked. And this created programs such as fear, lack, judgment, and disease. I'm not going to get into who did it, why, who has control now. I'm not going to get into any of that. But just understand that the third dimension as itself, as a matrix that encompasses planet Earth, there's absolutely nothing wrong with. This is the experience we came to have. However, because of some forms of malevolence, that matrix program was hacked, and it has created experiences that are some of the things that we don't want, such as fear, judgment, lack, and disease. Those are the four that I usually talk about most often. So where does this come from? Well, this hacked matrix is actually a product of programming that has gone into our unconscious mind. It has become a part of our own internal matrix program, which means that we then, as creator beings here on planet Earth, create more of it in our outward experience because that is the program we're running on the inside. Now remember, at the beginning of this video, I spoke of how the fact that we are the creator beings, that we create from the inside through our imagination, intention, and focus, to create an experience holographically that we experience on the outside of our lives. So if that experience, the experience of creating inside in order to create our outside, is somehow got a virus, then what we create on our outside, such as fear, lack, judgment, and disease, becomes something that we see more and more of on the outside. So, Mother Gaia herself, because she is a consciousness, a living being, she ascended into the 5th dimension. Some say even last year. There's certain dates. Some say December 2012. I'm not here to say what is truth and what is not, other than the fact that Mother Gaia herself, without us, ascended into the 5th dimension. Now, our experience of Mother Gaia, for most of us, is still the 3rd dimensional experience of her, because that is the vibrational bandwidth that we operate from. We are 3rd dimensional physical beings with varying degrees of consciousness. Now, our consciousness, depending on how awakened we are and how expansive we are and how activated we are in our spiritual DNA, some can channel, contact, engage with consciousnesses that are way beyond the 3rd dimension. The 9th dimension, 12th, 15th, source itself, many people can expand in their consciousness vibrationally into these other dimensions, but it isn't anything that can be anchored in, because we still live in a 3rd dimensional body. So, what is happening through this ascension process is, as we awaken, we begin to shift through the invisible bandwidths that are called 3D. So if 3D is like this, there's 3D, then there's 3D.1, 3D.2, 3D.3, 3D all the way up to 3D.9, say. And this is my own analogy. And then we shift into 4D, and then we're in the 4D space. And then we shift into 5D. So through the awakening process of us awakening, expanding our consciousness, healing our bodies, purging the energies of fear, lack, disease, judgment from our physical body, and then choosing consciously and unconsciously to not entertain any of those viral programs, we begin to ascend. So there are many people on the planet right now that it's just not a part of their soul's contract, or they are experiencing, or can't think of the word, they're in their free choice, they're exercising their right to free choice and free will, which will always be honored, that are heavily 3D. They are maybe what we would gently call the unawakened ones. And then there is a whole bunch of people that are in different areas in that bandwidth between 3.1 and 3.9 that are awakening, starting to anchor in new ways of being, starting to not participate in some of the fear, lack, disease, and judgment programming, starting to dabble in new ways of showing up, new ways of thinking, new ways of being a creator. There's a whole bunch of people in the planet that are like that. Then there are some that are anchored more often in the 4th dimension. Now, the 4th dimension isn't really a physical place. It's sort of where your consciousness can go, and when it comes back, how far back does it come? So you're able to expand in your consciousness right up to, say, the 15th dimension, but when you come back and settle into your new anchor point, perhaps you're anchoring somewhere in the 4th dimension. And I believe that's kind of where I'm at. I don't participate very much in the 3rd dimensional ways of life, really not at all. But I live in the 3rd dimension with my children, and I go grocery shopping and do all the normal sort of 3D activities, but it's not where my energy is at home. It's not its grounding anchor point. And that's just my experience. So for varying days, on varying degrees, on varying topics, you are going to float somewhere between 3.1, because you're awake, up to say 3.9, even into 4, and then maybe there's a whole other bandwidth of 4.1, 4.2, and on, and 4.9, and then you get into the 5th dimension. So that's just all a part of the process, and there's no judgment in that. Because no matter how far your consciousness can go, your lowest anchoring point is always going to be your physical vessel, because our physical vessels are also ascending. This isn't just about consciousness. Our physical vessel is ascending from the standpoint that we are shifting from a carbon-based DNA to a crystalline-based DNA. As we purge and release the lower vibrational experiences, thoughts, beliefs, and matter from our cellular templates within the body, they are being replaced with higher vibrational frequency crystalline DNA programming. So our bodies are ascending. Our consciousnesses are ascending, and when they both merge, eventually in a new anchoring point where both are able to be in the same place, both our physicality and our consciousness, we will likely be anchored into the 5th dimension at that point. Which, going back to the beginning of the video, means that there is the planet Earth, and then there is a 3rd dimensional matrix around the Earth, and then there is a 5th dimensional matrix around the Earth that we as 3D beings don't have access to yet. It's there, it's out there in the world, it exists, but because we aren't anchored into that frequency, it doesn't become a part of our experience, but it exists. Some people are there. Few, very few, but some people are there. So what does the 5th dimension look like? Well, in the 5th dimension, we are sovereign beings of light. We are at the truest sense, our divine self experiencing itself through human form. We are sovereign. We are self-healers. We don't age. There is no disease, fear, lack, judgment. It is an existence of oneness, unity consciousness, unconditional love. So we've kind of worked out, by the time we can anchor in the 5th dimension, in a consciousness, you keep working at it. I'm in there some days, but that's not my anchor point. We anchor it in from a conscious place, and then the more we anchor it in, the more our physical body is able to ascend as well. So that's sort of where we're heading. But we're kind of getting there like this, like up and down and up and down. And sometimes the downs are really dippy, and then sometimes the ups are really too high for us to be able to sustain it. So our whole ascension experience, which for many of us will happen in this lifetime, is that we are unanchoring ourselves from a 3rd dimensional matrix that, yes, has a hack. But in of itself, the fact that it's 3D, there's nothing wrong with that. And then we are going to expand our consciousness, come back, expand, come back, expand, come back, anchor in new ways of being, anchor in new ways of showing up, anchor in new thoughts, anchor in new unconscious thoughts. As we keep expanding our consciousness and bringing and anchoring in and integrating ourselves, then we provide an opportunity of higher vibrational frequencies for our body to ascend, and then we ascend with our body together. Some refer to this as the death and rebirth process. We are literally dying and having a new life, all in the same body, all in the same human linear lifetime. That is in actuality what is happening. We are losing a lot of our memories, because we are more, the higher the frequency you are in, the more in the now you are. So there isn't really no past and no future. You're not forced into the now, but that is the frequency that you're just anchored into. So the fact that there ever was a past doesn't matter to you, and the fact that there's a future, well, you know what's going to happen, so you don't really think about it. So it's a process. It's a process of undoing. your ego, your identity, your false identity of who you think you are, all of this stuff from childhood, the family programming, the ancestral programming, all of the stuff you carried with you in your DNA, the energetic packages you promised you would clear when you were here in this lifetime, all of that stuff gets cleared up. And then you begin to ascend, 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 ascend. And the fifth dimension is where you are headed. Once you're in the fifth dimension, as I said, there's no disease, no fear, no lack. It's unity, consciousness, and love. You don't age. Then you choose when you want to opt out through your divine free will, because then you are your divine self. So lots of wonderful and amazing experiences to be had for those who have it in their soul's contract to get there. In the meantime, we are the cleanup crew. We are the vessel, like the boots on the ground, the bums in seats that are here on earth right now that signed up with such incredible excitement to be a part of this Project New Earth. And we did so knowing that we were going to have to clear our Akashic record, that part of that meant that we were going to be clearing very dense energetic packages for our ancestors, that we were going to be clearing packages of information and experiences and thoughts, beliefs, and programs that we carried on ourselves once and for all. So we really are the cleanup crew that are back here on earth to help the earth ascend in frequency, because as we do it individually, we do it as a collective too, right? So as we're doing our work, our personal work, our healing work, we are healing for ourselves, we are clearing for our ancestors, which means we clear it for our children so our children don't ever have to carry these burdens of beliefs and subconscious programmings, etc. We raise our vibrational frequency, which expands our consciousness, which allows our body to integrate higher frequencies, which crystallizes, which ascends us. And as we ascend as a collective, and more of us will be able to achieve the outer matrix of the fifth dimensional Mother Earth that already exists from an energetic standpoint. A lot of information. I hope that I was able to articulate it in a way that you're able to grasp and understand. Feel free to make comments if you need more information on this. Thank you for watching. I think that was all I wanted to talk about in this one video. If you enjoy my video, please watch the others that are there. There's another 30 some odd videos there. Click the subscribe button and the like button. Feel free to use the comments if you want to chat, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.